This is Diane Lepasic,
And Sadie Lepasic.
and this is Appilicious from Lepasic's Orchard. Right now we're going to make cranberry almond apple slaw. This is a coleslaw I started making last fall. Kim said, well, couldn't we make a coleslaw with apples in? So I went looking and I found a recipe, and then because of what I had on hand, I made changes. So this is kind of the current recipe that we're using. It uses things that I typically have. And lots of things in this are optional, so we'll take a look at those as we go. So we're going to start with cabbage. This we happen to grow at the orchard. We're selling them over there for anybody who wants to make kraut or anything, but we brought it home. With cabbage, you just peel out the outer leaves that kind of look kind of beat. This has still got like water between the leaves from being cut, which is super cool. I never really wash cabbage. A lot of the good stuff is in between those leaves, and if you take the outer ones off, you're done. My knife just, oh, here it is. Couldn't find my knife, but it's right here. When I make slaw, could you get that bowl back for me, please? I usually just cut it by hand. If you got a mandolin, you can certainly use a mandolin. You can put it in your food processor. To me, the cut that I like, I don't care if it's kind of a rough cut, and I'd rather not have it too fine, so I just cut by hand. So I'm going to take a slice off the edge here and set the cabbage aside, and I'm just going to go down the kind of, it cuts better if you go against the thing. These cabbages are still filling out. That's a pretty good sized one already, but they're going to make really good kraut here pretty soon. And I believe that the orchard will be putting out a video on how to make kraut. We had a kraut day in the past, but due to the conditions with the COVID and stuff, we're not going to hold one this year. So this is what I do to cut it. Like my some of the cut might be a little thicker than what some people like. It's the way we like it, so it's all good. So, and while I'm cutting cabbage, I think Sadie will start mixing the dressing for this. Could you tell us what you're going to put in there, Sadie?
So this is apple cider vinegar, and you put half apple cider vinegar and half mayonnaise.
And it happens that there's something special about our apple cider vinegar. My son-in-law, Matt, actually makes apple cider vinegar. And he took peels and cores that were left after we made dehydrated apples with them. But you could do them if you're going to peel and core for applesauce. You could take what's left, and he made apple cider vinegar out of them. And Sadie and I were discussing we might have to have him do a guest appearance and explain to us about how he makes apple cider vinegar. We'll see if this year when he gets to doing that, if maybe he could take some information for us. And then, go ahead, Sadie.
And then I just put some mayo in, and I'm gonna just mix it up.
She has a little mini whisk here she's just using. So it's not a magical formula, but this is what we like. It's about half apple cider vinegar and half mayonnaise. That's kind of a tart mix. The apples will sweeten it. So find what you like. You know, the original recipe I believe that I had called for some sugar in there. I'm not one to put sugar in stuff unless you got to. The craisins are also kind of sweet, which we'll get to them later. So this is what we go with. Feel free to make it your own. Now, because I had found these 3 little bitty carrots in my crisper drawer, they're going in. This is the very last crisp carrots I had in there. There probably won't be any more carrots until winter because there's so much stuff coming out of my garden. And I don't shop much during fall. So, like that little piece, we're going to throw that away. We'll give that to the chickens. So I'm just going to kind of matchstick cut up these carrots. Get them kind of small. There's not too many of them. And then we'll just give them a little chop across and and then they'll be perfect. Okay, we're gonna put those in there. I have kale in my garden. If I didn't have kale, I wouldn't put kale in. I have kale. So right now, I just pull the stems and just pull the leaves off, and we're gonna give them kind of a rough chop too. I was just out in my garden and I see I've got a little broccoli and stuff to pick, but I don't have it in here right now. If I did, I might take some broccoli stems and kind of grate them up and throw them in here too. They'd be kind of good. Okay, we're gonna put that in. See, maybe you could mix a little. I also have fresh parsley. If I didn't have it, I wouldn't worry about it. If I had some dried, I might stick it in there. Not a big deal either way. Wasn't even in the original recipe again, as the kale was not. But when I have these things around, I try to find ways to use them. So therefore, that's what we have. Okay. What next? Sadie's gonna put some craisins in. Some. How many? Well, we could measure them, or we could just put them in there, and then we could see when it looks right. And we're also gonna put some almonds. So I've got almonds here, which I like to try to chop up. I've never found a good way to chop up almonds. So believe me, I am not gonna have pretty little sliced almonds like some people will, but they'll be in there. They'll add some crunch. We like the crunch, we like the flavor. This became a favorite slaw. And when I show up with this for lunch at the orchard, my daughter-in-law Kim said, "Oh, can we keep the coleslaw?" It's like, well, yeah, you can.
So I just mix the raisins in there.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's I probably need a little bit more. Yep. Oh, we didn't put any apples in there yet either. Which is one of the main ingredients. That's not an optional ingredient. It's apples. Also some salt and pepper.
Sprinkle some in.
I would suggest here. This is usually my preference when I'm doing salt and pepper. And this is a coarsely ground pepper that I get, and it just tastes a lot better. So we'll just put some of that in there, and we'll put a little salt. You can always add, don't overdo. It's always my policy. And we'll try it, and we can always add, or people can add, especially salt. Needs enough to taste good, but some people are sensitive to salt. The almonds are the biggest pain in any of the jobs here. Okay, and I have 2 apples. Those two are both the same kind. We don't want that. We're gonna get 2 different kinds of apples. I'm not even gonna tell you what these are because the kind is not magical. People come into the store and they say, "Oh, it says Granny Smith." Well, Granny Smith are from last year if you want to buy them now, or you can wait till the end of October. But the thing is, there are a lot of other good apples that can do the same thing. So you get Granny Smith maybe because you want it to cook a certain way, or sometimes this is a nice one to put things in that you know they won't brown. Although I think the acidity and the apple cider vinegar keeps it from browning too much. It never seems to be too much of a problem. So I just kind of I'm kind of cutting these up in thinner slices. Basically, I cut around the core when I do this. I don't feel like I have to be fancy about taking the core out, and then just slices down, and then just kind of turn them on edge and slice again, and then maybe 1 chop across. I always figure the important thing is to get it in there. And keep the process as quick and simple as possible. And if you get seeds on your cutting board, you should get those off. They are not a good plus on this recipe. when I get to the end of the apple, I have a square core. That goes to the chickens. Chickens and goats get pretty much all of the scraps. Right now, the goats get lots of apple cores and stuff from the back room. And also cabbage leaves. And some things that they're pruning off the apple trees to get them out of the aisle before they get in there to peck. So, everybody's eating good right now in the fall. So, after we get this made and take it to the family, they'll be eating good too. Does that look like it's gonna be just right, Sadie?
Yeah.
Feel like there's enough dressing on there?
I didn't put dressing on.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you can put the dressing on there anytime. Start mixing that in. We'll just keep adding these. Then we'll see if it's got enough moisture. Goodly amount of apples in there. We're apple people, it should be.
Yeah.
I'm a spatula person, so we're gonna scrape that out of there before we put it in the dishwasher.
I think it's looking pretty good.
That looks pretty good. Okay, we might even get to sample this one now. Yeah, we're not gonna do that. We're just gonna use it. You only get one sample with your fork, though.
I guess.
Okay, she's got a spoon. I'm gonna use a fork. And we promise not to double dip. And you aren't gonna eat it anyhow, the family is. Here's some craisin stuff together. So, and this will actually get better as it sits. But it's pretty good right now. It's pretty good right now. It will be, well, people might be done eating lunch by the time we get there, but they'll have it for lunch tomorrow. Or maybe dinner tonight, so. Okay, I think that one's a wrap. Thanks for stopping by.